All right, hello there, welcome back to another wee bit different video. Today's video, going into another tier list maker. Today we got ranked the 30 starting small forwards in the 2023-2024 season. I am a huge fan of doing these tier lists because it just brings a lot of NBA related discussion, and NBA is probably my favorite sport ever. So without further ado, let me explain the scaling. S is a superstar without question. A is a star who is either nearing that superstar spot and or somebody who is the second man on a really good team. B is somebody who is a good starter, definitely better than average, and someone who is capable of changing a team with their presence on the floor. Keyword though is capable. If you're in B, it's probably because you're not consistent. C is just going to be average and or okay. D is just a bad starter. If you're on D, it doesn't mean you're a bad player. It doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be on a championship team. It just means that you shouldn't be starting on a team, period. Anyway, let's get into it. First, we got Ausar Thompson. We don't know how good he's going to be. Excuse me. We don't know how good he's going to be. What we do know is the Pistons gambled by taking him at number 4. It's going to be interesting to see how he progresses into the league because, I mean, as a small forward, he is relatively thin at the moment. Somebody who's pretty athletic, able to score at a pretty solid level, but it's going to take time for him to progress. So right now he's going to stay at C, and hopefully in the future for Pistons fans, he can maybe get to ARS someday. Harrison Barnes is C. He's interesting because he's a solid 3-and-D player. All you really want is, again, to do that 3-and-D role. Sometimes he goes above that sometimes and gets like 15, 16, 17 points. Other times he just has an off night. So he's an okay starter, I should say. RJ Barrett is definitely a B, somebody who's capable of blowing up. Problem is he's massively inconsistent, and I mean on another level. Knicks fans are hoping he can kind of creep up to A as time goes on, but right now he's definitely still at B. He needs to be much more consistent to get that title. BI is definitely A. Now in terms of FIBA, no, he's not playing well. He'd go lower. But in terms of the NBA, when the game revolves around him and his team uses him as that primary option, he is very good at excelling in that role. Great mid-range game, solid three-point game, which got significantly better last year, by the way. The dude is just a bucket getter. He's very lengthy as well, so he can kind of surprise the players with his length and reach out for a steal or a block. Brandon Miller, another rookie. Charlotte really took a gamble by drafting him over Scoot. We're going to see how that pans out, but for now we're going to have to leave him in C because he hasn't even played an NBA game just yet, similar to Ausar Thompson. Jimmy Butler, definitely S. He's taken his team to the finals 2 times now. Didn't finish the job, unfortunately, for Heat fans and, of course, for Jimmy himself. But Jimmy is still a great player who shows up in the craziest moments when you least expect it and you think the Heat are down and out of it. Jimmy just brings that team back into contention. So shout out to Jimmy Butler, elite defender, somebody he's one of the only superstars who doesn't force his own shot and actually play makes for his team and allows his team to thrive around him. So it's pretty interesting to watch Jimmy Butler play. Cam Johnson, I would say, is a low B or high C. Solid scorer, able to get some nice threes, really shooting all around from mid-range to 3. He's just really solid. $100 million deal, so $25 million a year. As time goes on, that deal can look better if he can maintain his scoring ability. So I actually think that he has a chance to get a ring somewhere down the road with a different team. Dylan Brooks, definitely low C or C. Prior to his distractions in the playoffs, he's not a bucket getter. He's not a three-point shooter. He can hit him from time to time, but he's a scrappy defensive player who gets in people's grills very often. So a solid piece, but not great. DeMar DeRozan's definitely A tier. I would say BI is going to be higher than him this season, but in terms of just last season and where we based them off of, like the last time we've seen him play, DeRozan is just the ultimate mid-range king. It feels like every shot he takes from mid-range is just money. Like, how many players can you say, oh, bucket, mid-range, oh, bucket? He is the guy known to do that, and their faders, their post-ups, whatever it is. Tobias Harris, I would say low B or high C. I would say low B. It's just weird because he has games where he shines with that 18, 19 points, and he has games where he disappears entirely. Not the most consistent three-point shot, some solid defense for sure. It's just, it'd be nice for him to find a role where he can shine the brightest, and you think that was with Philly last season, but Philly, I feel like, always brings drama, so it always takes away from his play in terms of people talking about it, which is unfortunate, but he still is a B tier, I would say. DeAndre Hunter, solid three-point shooter, solid defender. And when I say solid three-point shooter, I mean he doesn't take a lot of looks, but when he does and Trey passes it his way, he can get it done. All right, Keldon Johnson, definitely a solid starter. It's odd because on the Spurs, he doesn't seem to be... people don't talk about him a lot because the Spurs haven't been contending or looked serious in quite some time, but he's still a really solid player who, again, we got another legit shooter here, someone who is very fundamentally sound. Lauri Markkanen, in terms of last season, was an A. I don't know if, to me, I would say super low A because he's not in BI or DeMar DeRozan's level just yet, in my opinion, because he's only done it for one season. But if he can maintain last season's level and just be an absolute sniper and then just be an absolute scorer, then of course he deserves the title of being an A tier. But I would say low A for now. Granted, it still is A tier, but it's like one of those uncertain ones because, again, he's had one season to show for it. LeBron James, S tier. Been doing it for way too long. I don't understand how he's still that good. And you go into this upcoming season, the Lakers are expected to compete and to be, a team to threaten a title run. So we'll see how that goes. Lou Dort is definitely B tier. I would say, Lou Dort isn't as good as a attack or shooter, I should say, as Tobias Harris. At least it doesn't feel like it. But defensively, Lou Dort is on another level. He's exactly who you want to clamp anyone up in any given situation. He is unreal. He is just in your face, almost like a menace off the ball, on the ball. He is just attached. He's like freaking glue. It's crazy. Luka Doncic, definitely S tier, right? I haven't rated S tier, by the way, but I can say for certainty that these two are better than Jimmy. People would say Luka's better than LeBron. I'm not here to really do that just yet. Anyway, Luka, insane playmaker, insane scorer, not a great defender, can definitely work on that, and his attitude as well can definitely work on that, but he just makes everyone around him better, and he is clutch. Like, he is just absolutely clutch. Benedict Mathurin, I would say, is a little below Tobias Harris right now. You could even argue DeAndre Hunter. It's a very efficient scorer, somebody who can get to the rim and shoot. Still got to clean up a lot of things, though, and a lot of the small mistakes. Defensively could get better as well. Max Strus, I would say C tier. I think he's more of a product of the Heat just being a well-coached team and having players, who are going to have each other's backs. And again, Jimmy Butler elevating really everyone else's play. So I don't think Max Strus is anything crazy. Yes, he's a good shooter, but I think that's pretty much what there is to him. Even then, he can be very inconsistent. I would say C tier. Jaden McDaniels. He's a tough one because he's a seriously insanely good defender, right? And honestly, he's a better scorer than I would say a lot of the players on C and half of them on B. But he doesn't score enough consistently to be anywhere near A, but his defense is just rock solid. What him and Anthony Edwards could do, and Cat, it could be dangerous. Rudy Gobert there as well. Like, that team could definitely be dangerous if they're all healthy. Granted, who's going to fill that leadership role with playoff experience, I don't know. But Jaden McDaniels, anyway, is just a beast. Just an absolute beast. Chris Middleton here, definitely A tier. I think Chris Middleton was in our shooters tier list as well. But yeah, Chris Middleton, great I would say really good small forward. The thing is, moving forward, I do like BI and DeMar DeRozan just because Chris Middleton is always battling injuries, it feels like, and the guy's never healthy. And it's different because the team revolves around BI and DeMar DeRozan. The team doesn't revolve around Chris Middleton. They revolve around Giannis more so. I mean, granted, in a lot of clutch moments, they do hand Chris Middleton the ball and say, deliver us a bucket. And, you know, sometimes he really does come through. Michael Porter Jr., definitely a B. I would put him about right here. Reason being is because he does not do much else other than shoot a shit ton of threes. Does not rebound consistently at all. There are games where he has 7-8 rebounds. There are games where he has 1 or 2. Assist numbers are very little assist numbers, but he is an absolute sniper from 3. We're talking, if he's open, you better mark down 3 points for the Nuggets already, because he is just unreal from 3. But very inconsistent in a lot of other aspects of the game. But because of his, again, 3-point shooting ability, because of his mid-range shooting ability, because he can bring some slashing to that side of the game, you know, he is definitely a B tier player. OG Anunoby, A tier. No, sorry, high B tier. Great defender, great at getting steals, solid finisher, solid shooter. Really, just an all-around player who can excel defensively pretty well. Josh Okogie is definitely C tier, low C tier at best. Very scrappy player, can hit open threes, but not consistently. Really, you're not gonna get a whole lot out of him, other than someone who's just gonna work really hard and be really scrappy, which, you know, still is solid. Paul George, definitely S tier. Paul George is one of those players who, when he's on the court and when he's healthy, absolute fucking bucket, and he does it in the smoothest ways. Lethal 3-point shot, lethal mid-range, phenomenal at taking it to the rim, good free throw shooter, great defender. Like, Paul George just brings it all to the table. Every aspect of the game, he can really bring it in. And when he wants to play make, he definitely can. Shaedon Sharpe, I would say, is high C. You know, could be creeping up onto B for sure. It's just when there's nobody on your team who you're really competing with in terms of shares of the ball, other than, of course, Dame Time. But Dame Time had games where he missed. And the games that he did miss, Shaedon shined the most. Anthony Simons, the games that he did miss, this guy, Shaedon Sharpe, shined the most. So it's one of those things to where if he has an opportunity, he can shine. We just don't know how often it can be like that. And we don't know if Dame's going to be on the team or not next season. What we do know is Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, what's his name? The dude that got a ridiculously Jeremy Grant. Yeah, crazy contract. So we have a lot to, you know, anticipate in terms of the young roster in Portland. It's gonna be interesting to see what life's like after Dame. I don't think I'm gonna be used to that, but again, they're gonna be rocking with some young studs, more notably Scoot and Shaedon. JT, Jason Tatum, easily S tier, dude. This guy is fucking unreal. This isn't ordered at all. If I had to order it, I wouldn't want to. By the way, why is Luka listed as a small forward on here? I just thought about that. Luka's a fucking point guard. Yeah, Luka's the point guard. Kyrie plays the 2. I mean, really, it goes back and forth. But yeah, Luka's not a 3. Luka's definitely the point. He's on here anyway. That's what we're going to work with. I mean, who would be the small forward? Tim Hardaway? Because Kyrie the 2, Tim the 3 if Tim starts. Jesus. Not a lot of defense going on. Anyway, I'm not going to organize S tier. A tier, B tier, all that. The rest of the stuff is organized. S tier is like one of those things to where it would take me a while to really break everything down. Franz Wagner is definitely low B, right? Solid at being a floor general. Doesn't really rack up a shit ton of assists, but but he's not afraid to make that second pass. And what I mean by floor general is he really sets up the plays. He's able to bring the ball up the court, never makes that final pass to the bucket, or I wouldn't say never, but oftentimes it's not really him. I would say it's more of a team-oriented thing, but he's definitely, again, that floor general who sets things up and starts creating, and again, is never hesitant to make that second pass if that opportunity comes. Not a great three-point shooter, but solid enough. Solid floater game, and he's got definitely an ability to get a nice touch at the rim. Next up, I think this is our last one. Andrew Wiggins is definitely B tier. NBA champion. Not necessarily what people thought he would be, right? Because he was the first pick, but still really good. Great defender. Oddly enough, you never thought you'd say that early in his career at the Timberwolves, but a great defender. Somebody who's able to just knock down threes when he's left there open. Somebody who's also able to finish very, very tough and difficult shots at the rim. Love what you get to see from A-Wig. But this is our small forwards tier list. Let me know what you guys think. If there's anything too controversial, something that you just don't necessarily agree with. You could argue Jaden's higher than Cam Johnson. You could argue Lu Dort's higher than Cam Johnson. You could honestly say Michael Porter's better than Cam Johnson. Actually, I'm going to say that right now. Let me fix that. Boom. Anyway, appreciate you guys for watching. As always, this is We've Been Different. We've been different. And we out.